Okay, so if you're an early stage founder, you know that building an amazing product is really only half the battle, right? The other half, well, that's keeping the incredible people who actually build it. Let's dive right into this because it's a huge challenge. How do you stop your best talent from walking right out the door? Seriously, just think about that for a second. Your lead dev, the person who knows your entire code base inside and out, they walk in and hand in their notice. What does that do to your roadmap? What happens to your team's morale? And what about that next funding round you're prepping for? This isn't just some hypothetical. It's a constant, looming threat. And the cost of that threat? It's honestly staggering. We're talking about a price tag that can be as high as, well, just look at this number. That's a multiplier. 2 times. Yep, you heard that right. When you actually factor in all the recruiting costs, the hiring, the onboarding, and all that lost productivity, replacing a key team member can cost you 1.5 to 2 times their entire annual salary. For a startup that's counting every penny, that's not just a pain, it can be a full-blown existential crisis. And that's just the financial part. Because the real cost of turnover, it goes way beyond just the dollars and cents. It creates this ripple effect that touches every single part of your organization. Now, just look at the gap on this chart for a minute. That bar on the left, that's the average turnover rate for early-stage tech companies, a whopping 25%. Now compare that to the one on the right. That's double the national average for all other industries. See? You're not just in a race to attract talent. You're in a constant uphill battle to keep it. So, if we're going to solve this problem, we first have to understand it. Why are so many brilliant people bailing on startups? Well, it's not always for the reason you might think. Let's be real for a second. Startups are at a huge financial disadvantage. I mean, you're going up against giants like Meta and Alphabet that can throw massive salaries at people. You try to counter with equity, right? But if your team doesn't really get how it works, or they need cash now for rent and student loans, that someday promise just feels, well, it feels pretty abstract. But it's not always about the money. People also leave when they don't see a clear path for growth. On a tiny team, it can feel like you're stuck, like there's nowhere to go. And then, of course, there's the classic startup burnout culture, that constant do more with less pressure that just stretches everyone way too thin. Okay, so that's the diagnosis. What's the treatment? Well, we can build a really powerful retention strategy around 3 main pillars: compensation, career growth, and culture. First things first, let's fix the money part. You have to benchmark your salaries against the market. No, you don't have to match big tech dollar for dollar, but you've got to be in the ballpark. Next, make your equity plan simple to understand. And finally, add smart perks that actually matter, like performance bonuses or a stipend for their professional development. This quote right here just hits the nail on the head. Equity isn't just a line item on a spreadsheet. It's a feeling. It's about ownership. If you can't clearly explain what it's worth and what its potential is, it has zero power as a reason to stay. You could even host a quick Equity 101 session just to make it real for everyone. The second thing you've got to do is invest in your people's growth. Map out what it actually takes to get from a junior to a senior role at your company, set up mentorship programs, pairing up your newer folks with your senior leaders, and set aside a real budget, even if it's a small one, for courses and conferences. You have to show them they have a real future with you. And finally, you have to build a culture that people are loyal to. This means being radically transparent about how the company is doing. It means celebrating the wins, no matter how small. And this is a big one. It means actually respecting work-life boundaries. A place where people feel safe, valued, and connected, that's a place they won't want to leave. So right about now, you're probably thinking, this all sounds really expensive. But here's the thing. Creating a great place to work doesn't have to break the bank. Let's look at some high-impact perks that cost next to nothing. Take a look at this. Things like a flexible schedule or remote work options. They offer incredible value at almost zero cost to you. A small monthly stipend for a gym or a wellness app that shows you actually care about their health. And mentorship programs. They just leverage the amazing expertise you already have on your team. See, this isn't about ping pong tables and free beer. It's about building trust and preventing burnout. Okay, so you've put all these strategies into place. How in the world do you know if any of it is actually working? Well, you have to track your progress. You need the right data. Let's look at a few key metrics that tell the real story. First up is your overall retention rate. It's a really simple calculation, just the number of employees who stuck around with you over a period of time. This gives you that high-level, 30,000-foot view of how stable your workforce is. A high number here is a fantastic sign that you're on the right track. But to get a bit more detail, you need to look at your voluntary turnover. This one's more specific because it only counts the employees who choose to leave. This metric helps you zero in on problems with a specific role or with pay or your culture. If this number starts creeping up, that is a major red flag that something in the employee experience is broken. And what if the problem isn't your company, but how you're bringing people into it? That's where new hire turnover comes in. It tracks how many people leave within their first year. A high rate here usually points to an issue with your hiring or your onboarding. Are you setting the right expectations from the get-go? Are you actually helping new folks feel like part of the team? So, at the end of the day, when you put it all together, the takeaway is pretty clear. You have to stop thinking about retention as an expense. It's not. It is a strategic investment. It's an investment in the stability of your team, in the institutional knowledge that literally walks out the door every time someone leaves, and ultimately in your company's ability to grow. So I'll just leave you with this final question to think about. Are you building a company that's just a temporary stepping stone, a place you have to constantly convince people to join? Or are you building a destination, a place where people feel so valued, so challenged, and so connected to the mission that they honestly can't imagine working anywhere else? Your answer to that question will define your future.